welcome back to another episode of Music and Madness with Tom and John here from the Villages, Florida. And we brought back Gary. Gary was with us with an episode with David C. Johnson. Gary's a phenomenal harmonica player.
Rips it.
But there is so many other things about David's life beyond music that we're just like, we got to make a whole other episode out of this. Absolutely phenomenal. So what we've learned in the short time that we spent with these guys, he's an inventor. He's an artist. He's been on television shows. He probably got to see Elizabeth Montgomery naked. I don't know, but there's just a lot of shit we got to talk about. We got to talk about.
Kiss and tell. Yeah.
So you're down here. You're transplanting from Massachusetts,
Yes.
another masshole like John.
Love it.
And
boy.
So you're doing some music, and how did you walk into the music scene? You just had your sachet case of harmonicas and decided to walk into one of these music establishments, saw a musician playing and step in. How did you?
With David?
Any one of them?
Yeah.
Down here.
Well, I was my wife and I were staying at the Brownwood Hotel, and we walked in, and it was just about 9:45. He only plays till like 10.
Yeah.
And but he's playing great music, so of course right over there it's like a magnet. You just can't So I went over there and said, hey, just happened to have my harps with me. And so I showed him, yeah, let's do a song. So after that, it's basically had an open invitation anytime, that he plays. And
Talk right into that microphone.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, they heard him once, and he's hired forever.
Yeah,
every Thursday.
I believe it.
He's phenomenal. You're a great addition to that, though. I mean, it's a blessing when you're down there to play with him. Also, it's freaking phenomenal.
Well, thanks. Yeah, because we've only gotten together, like I said, about 6 or 7 times.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But when you've been playing for a while, it just as long as I know what key it's in, it just so we just make it work.
When you carried your harmonica down and heard the music, was your wife like, no, you're not?
No. She's used to it.
Oh, she is. Okay.
Yeah, this is our second rodeo, and but we've been together for 18 years, and there's one thing I keep my promises, and one of the promises I made her, it's never going to be boring.
There you go.
That's one promise she'd be okay with me. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wide open thing, but it's I'm with you.
How could it be boring with all the shit you do? It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So and after that, we became friends, David and I, and as you know, he's a phenomenal musician. He does it all. So yeah. So I've been in bands, like I said. I've been typically the singer, rhythm guitar player and harp player, so but nothing like David. So but it's always been an interest. I consider this my first childhood. So like the old expression, I wanted to go into my grave sideways, sweating and out of breath. So
Well, that's just it. You told us on the earlier episode you're 74, which is you're in great shape for 74, but you can choose how you want to take and write the last chapter. And I see so many people down here in the villages are like, hey, there's a lot of life to live yet.
Sure is.
And that's the one thing that, John and I are, at first we didn't think we were old enough to be here. And now we're like, shit. The good part about it is we're going to be able to enjoy this place for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's so much life down here and so many cool things. That's part of the reason we had to do this podcast, is because there's a lot of people that we need to take and, showcase what they're doing. And you are absolutely a prime candidate for this. You are, like I said, we've learned you're a phenomenal musician. You're an inventor. You've invented, we're going to get into some of those things in a bit, but which was your first thing that you invented? Was it any of the musical stuff? You did drumsticks, the picks? What was your first thing?
Probably my resume. No, no. Let's see. The first patent I pursued was for the CAPPY.
Okay.
And it took me 5.5 years and many thousands of dollars to get that. And so I can actually, if you would like, I can even give a demonstration.
Absolutely. And the CAPPY is a beverage is a beverage type thing. It's a seal. It is a opener.
My wife's gonna love it.
Yeah.
Anything I can do to save the fingernails.
Oh my God, yeah.
The soda companies aren't too happy with it because
Well,
we don't dump out the half
That's
half a
exactly
can
right.
of sodas
right,
anymore.
right.
Yeah, so I can actually show how that works. See, that's the side which you use as an opener. So you slide that under there. No more broken nails. And
Pop it
people who are challenged, even with arthritis and
Sure.
things like that, then you take it and you turn it over. This is where I lose most guys. Fortunately, they're the intelligent ones in our species.
Got it.
So you turn it over, you put it back on. It's called the CAPPY. Begins with a C. C stands for color. There's 12 colors. And C also stands for closed.
Close it up.
Keychain ready, dishwasher safe, child safe. It's an Amazon choice now. And
Wow.
I got 2 offers in Shark Tank for it, but they didn't air my segment. Did the hug with Mark Cuban. They flew me out there, Sony Studios. Yeah. And they said, this is the product of the season.
Really?
And it never got aired because they made me say things I didn't want to say, and it backfired.
Oh, that's unbelievable. Huh?
Yeah, so we did it ourselves. We invested in the tooling, got some friends, some investment. I built a 16 cavity injection molding tool, made them in Pittsburgh, Massachusetts, but now we've moved it to Garden Grove, California, where HPG, it's a company in the promo world that they put the logos on there. So they're doing a great job.
You know, that might be something we have to have Music and Madness with Tom and John on it.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Did Cuban give you what you were looking for at the time?
Not. He was going to do the manufacturing and the distribution. And as people said, Gary, we don't know how to do either one of those. Do you know anybody who could do it for us? I said, have you seen the show?
Yeah.
The premise of the show is you're supposed to do that for me. Have somebody do it for you to do it for me. So they said, look, we can't believe he did that. How about we give you $25,000 for your nonprofit and we call it a day? And since, I signed papers like this and either party can back out for any reason without any liability.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
how long did you, after you invented it, you send, how does the whole Shark Tank thing, you send a letter in, or how does it?
Well, it's interesting that they have you apply online.
Yep.
And I said, this is going to get me on the show. It's a great product. So they I sent it in, and I hear nothing. So I saw that they had down in Charlotte, North Carolina, they were having open auditions.
Yep.
I got on an airplane, got in line, went in there. And it's you don't see the sharks, it's a pre-qualified.
Sure,
yeah,
sure,
so,
like American Idol, yeah.
So I okay, you go over to that one. I started giving the demonstrations. I love those. I want some of those. I saw these you applied online. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, what am I doing here?
That's right. That's right. Why did I fly here?
So she said, all right, pack up your stuff. Nonchalantly go over behind there, back up your stuff, going over there, and then you hear other people go, we'll get in touch with you. Oh, thank you so much for coming. But the wonder, the wink,
bye.
Go over there. So then they put me on video there, sent it out, and I got the call. Yeah, you're on the show. And
you fly out to LA for that?
Yeah, Sony Studios, they paid for everything.
Sure.
And they even gave me a per diem, and you do the Sony execs the day before, and you and then you get ready to do the live show the next day.
And it is live, edited, or is it live?
Well,
you go there.
I'm sorry, like
edited. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and so, but it's. I was so beat up by the time I went on the show, because every word is scripted.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
And change this, change that.
I loved the show up until about 5 years ago. Yeah. Now you have to cry. If you have to cry, you have to have a member that has 100%. It's like, come on, it's so scripted now, which stinks.
And then what does Barbara step in and save you after you cry?
Yeah, they cry. They talk about their kid who's sick. Or
I can't tell you all the stuff about it because if they do, they will sue me. I automatically award them $8 million.
Yeah,
so certain things I have to keep close to.
Good for you.
And then I segue into the now in the bottle product.
Right.
The
Which is the snappy and
CAPPY, the snappy, the flappy.
the
working
flappy.
on them. Yeah.
I love it.
Working on a golf tee thing. But beyond the inventions, which
He's got the cap. He's got the.
That's the snappy.
That's the snappy. Let's see the demonstration for the snappy.
So the snappy goes over a wine bottle, beer bottle, champagne bottle, various, like you said, even some
vinegar,
whatever.
Right.
As a cheap condom, and that's reusable.
Never thought of that.
Reusable.
Let me write that down.
Right. So you put it over the bottle, and why would we call it the snappy? It's because
snaps back.
Snaps back.
Love
and then you have that little indent, and you can park it to the side so you're ready to use it. And then I can even take the CAPPY and put it inside the snappy and carry it around the keychain. Yeah. And then I'm working on the flappy. I've got that for glassware. And that's going to probably come out in 2026. And, technically I'm retired.
Yeah, sounds it.
But, it's the ability to not have to do those things, the day job.
That's the whole thing about retirement for me is this. Well, besides the podcast, same thing. I get up every day. I still do work stuff and still whatever. Yeah. And that's the cool thing about being retired is you get to do what the hell you want to do.
Right.
If you played your cards right.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. And don't lose at that card game.
Exactly. But you get, you continue to do stuff and whatever. And that's what is so cool about like the Villages. You get to see people who are, their last chapters has got more shit in it than the first 6. Yeah. And it's just a great way to take it. You get out of life what you put in it.
There's no question about it. As I was saying earlier, I always want to juggle. So at age 59, I said, I'm going to, by the time I'm 60, I just challenge myself. That's what you should
exactly.
do. And people say, it's too late to play an instrument. I said, no, it's not. Wouldn't you like to be able to say you've been playing for 5 years? Yeah. Okay, we'll start now.
Yeah.
Right.
And in 5 years, be saying
my dad did it down here at 70 years old, started playing guitar. Always wanted to do it his whole life and said, you know what? Why not?
Yeah.
So
that I've always had an interest in music. So I, been playing guitar for a while, then, picked up the harp and some, the drumming thing. And so I made my drumsticks, and all that for Vic Firth, which won the International MIPA Award for it's 115 of the world's largest music magazines, and they vote on new products, and they said this is the best, world's best new stick.
So what was different about the stick?
Well, actually, I put this metal insert in the butt end of the stick. It actually only goes in an inch. And
is that familiar, John?
No, half inch.
Bada bing, right? There's a rim shot when you need it, right? So it changes the tension in the stick. It actually adds some kinetic energy to the whole dynamic of it all. So they won the International MIPA Award, which is 115 of the world's largest music magazines, and they voted world's best new stick. And then Drum Magazine, it's the drummers that vote, and they awarded it the Drummy Award. As well. So so I get a royalty deposit every month on that.
Good for you.
Hanging out with Steve Smith from Journey and Peter Erskine and
a lot of guys.
The Appleseed Brothers,
Really?
So and in fact, Vinny signed one of my guitars over there that I made, as well.
Now, do you do it through another party? You don't send them out to them. So do you know everyone big band that uses them, or you have no idea?
I don't have any visibility in that.
Interesting. Yeah. You know the big guys that do it now, but I'm sure this.
Well, they all had to test it.
Yeah.
Vic and I became very good friends, and I have some pictures over there of him and I getting the international award and all that. But he was an amazing man. He played for the BSO for 50 years.
Wow.
And so he didn't like the sticks, so he made his own. Hey, can you make me some? Started the world's largest drumstick company. It made up in Maine. And so, he and I would drive up there together. And at the time I went up, which is many years ago because he's passed away, they were putting out 80,000 sticks per day.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. That's hard to believe.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So we've got CAPPY, SNAPPY, the Flappy, the Drumsticks. You're also a custom guitar builder. And then we still got to talk about Elizabeth Montgomery. Oh my God, it's gonna be a great show.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about her since I saw that. But anyway,
and now we can
so let's
make these light up even, right?
So we've got custom made guitars that he started out as guitar art, right? And now he's like, well, hell, I've made him this far along. I might as well make him play it. Check it out.
Yeah, that is badass.
And he was kind enough to take and bring us one. This is going to be permanent wall art for the Music and Madness with Tom and John.
Yep.
Absolutely cool. But yeah.
Fully functional. That thing rips, right?
Yeah. And
Damon was playing it.
David was playing that.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, that's the first one I had made. And like I say, Vinny Appice signed that one. And, hanging out with, all these drummers, it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Have you given them any away? Like,
I love giving stuff away.
Sure.
I'm at the point in my life where, I can do that. And, it's like the guitar picks,
he invented guitar
picks. That's another one. I know.
Jeez.
Yeah. You find a need and you fill it.
Yeah.
So, playing guitar, one of the, in fact, this guy I used to gig with, Gary, do you have a guitar pick I can borrow? And it's like, because there's no place to put them on your guitar, right?
Right.
Until now. So, they go right. Let me see. I can't turn this around here. So as you can see, they snap right onto your tuning peg. So they're always right with you.
And having that hole to hold on to is awesome.
Alignment and grip as well.
Yeah.
But don't order yet.
All right.
I have my Swiss Army pick.
Yeah.
Which gives you a 351 tip. Rotate it. It says jazz tip. Rotate it this way, and you have multi-string effect in either orientation. But over here on the side, you can play individual notes, and you have a 12-string effect.
And there's one other thing. When you lose that fucking thing off the loaf of bread, there you go. There it is. Because I always lose it. Awesome.
So they go right onto your tuning pegs. They're always with you.
Wow. And you invented those and did the same thing. Collect royalties.
Well, on this one, I haven't even done anything to promote it yet.
Really?
It took me forever to get them up on Amazon, and because when you own a brand, the CAPPY, the SNAPPY, the guitar picks, you have to prove you own it, because most people on Amazon, they're selling other people's products.
Correct. Yeah.
But when you have your own brand, I had to show documentation of the patent, of the registration of the name, and all that, because there's a lot of.
Now that's not called the picky, is it?
Yeah. What is that called?
They're called the Snap-on picks. And now people say, well, Snap-on tools. Well, you can't own common names in the vernacular.
Yeah.
So you can use it, but there's no other Snap-on guitar picks.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what that does.
And you got to get patenting for all this stuff. It's expensive.
It is expensive.
Yeah.
It's a daunting process.
Well, then it's the renewables that drive you crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'm just real quick. This show's about you, but I'm
I love it.
Gotta
get the commercials.
Gotta get the
commercials.
I'm actually an inventor myself, and so I've invented a zip tie that's available at a lot of the. Anyway. So yeah, but it's the fees. It's
that's right.
Fee
to maintain it. Yeah,
totally.
Even for the name.
Yes.
Yeah. That's when that threw me.
Yeah, and I have about 36 patents, and a lot of them are foreign patents too. And it's like, it seems like every other month I get this email from my patent attorneys saying, "Well, your renewal for this, renewal for that." It is expensive. People don't realize that, and it's expensive to get it all started, but. It's, this. Yeah. It is emotionally awesome though when you're done at the end and you've got something to sell, and then when somebody wants to buy it, it's even better.
Yeah, and I truly have so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, I meet so many musicians. I give them drumsticks. I give them guitar picks.
Oh, I'm sure
they
it
give
must
them
be awesome.
cappies. You know, and it's just it's a lot of fun. And then of course the Flappy's going to be coming out.
The Flappy.
It could be silly, you know. You got to let the theme.
I love it.
So this one will be going on glassware. This is just one of the prototypes, but I've already got the patent filing going. So it's ribbed on differently, so you can put on different sizes, and it has a reclosable flap. But you know that you take it out and closes back. So
now, how many patents have you applied for? You think?
I think I've got 11.
11.
Yeah. Well, I got more pending.
Okay.
Yeah. So
34 and 11. So between the three of us, we have 45.
and then you know, now the golf product, and this is going to be probably for next year.
Oh, my mother will love that.
It just goes on the side of your shoe. I call it the T holster. You know, just put it through there, and you got to take it out of the ground. It's dirty. Why not put it in there? Slides keeps it clean. So
you're down there anyways, right?
You're down
there anyways.
Yeah.
I love it.
My golf game sucks so much. I either break the tee or lose the tee, or my shot sucks so bad I stomp it in the ground anyway. So yeah, that would.
Not me. I'll be all over that. I love that. It's awesome.
Yeah. So the Flappy in that one, it's probably for 2026. You know,
awesome.
Still a young kid here.
Yeah.
So, just got to keep.
That's right. I love it.
All right, now we got to talk about how did you get into television? You got on episodes of Bewitched.
Yeah, they were staying at the Hawthorne Hotel in Salem. I'm a Salem boy, and my mother was working there, and they were looking for somebody about 6'2", 6'3", and I thought, why are they specific about the height? They probably for background, you know, the people in the background. And
yeah, nobody.
I had no idea what it was for, so. Had the number, so I called. Okay, come to room. So I went to the hotel. I mean, there were hundreds of people everywhere trying to get a look. I mean, this was a phenomenal event in Salem.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, oh my God! And so I see somebody from a classmate. Gary, what are you doing here? Oh, just like everybody else. You know, what are you doing here? Yeah, and so just nonchalantly go over to the elevator and press it and go up there. Go up to the floor. Knock on the door. It opens like an inch. I see an eye looking at me. Can I help you? I was told to come to this room. The door opens up. This hand reaches through, pulls me through, slams the door behind me. He says, "You can come out now." And Elizabeth Montgomery comes over and looks up at me and goes, "Oh, hello."
No way.
Wow. Yeah, no shit.
How old?
It'd have been over with for me, right?
19.
19.
19. It was a big year for me.
Yeah.
I was like,
Summer of 42.
that was a great movie.
Yeah, it was.
So 19, you were out of high school.
Yeah, I was a college student at the time working a summer job, and that was a big year for me because I ended up not only full-time student working full-time, married full-time, and a father full-time.
Oh, my God.
It was a big year for me.
Shoot me.
Yeah,
That's
so it's been a long journey.
So from there, were they shooting episodes right local or what?
Yeah, they were doing some, and so they used me as a tourist down the House of Seven Gables. I lived half a mile from the House of Seven Gables. I had never been in there.
No way.
Yeah, because it's there. I can go in there anytime. It's one of those things. So they used me as a tourist there. But my big claim to fame was being the statue up in Gloucester. They bronzed me up.
The Gloucester fisherman.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know if you can see that over there. And so that's Elizabeth and I in Bonneville. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, they bronzed me up at the Gloucester Fisherman's Stand, people everywhere, and my 15 minutes of fame keeps getting extended from that because they have clubs, they have things, people written books about every episode, and I'm the only one that's still alive.
I was gonna say,
I
was just gonna say, you're probably the only one. What happened to Tabitha though? I don't know.
But yeah, she wasn't in those episodes.
Okay, yeah, before her,
yeah.
BT.
Who was which was it? Dick York?
It was Dick Sargent. See, Dick York had left the program because he had back issues.
Okay.
And so Dick Sargent was originally offered the role, but he was in a different series. And so they reoffered it to him. And I mean, very big difference. But
yeah,
it's TV. So.
And how long were you on set for?
Oh, they filmed all of it in a week, and I was there, the whole week.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah. It was the
So
whole
you
time.
get there in the morning and they'd bronze you up?
Well, not every episode there, but they use me like a lot as a stand-in. I do the work and he comes in for the easy stuff.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. These people are so amazing. They're wonderful, wonderful people. I couldn't say enough about how nice they were.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I made myself useful, as well.
And you never wanted to get into the acting gig after that?
Well, I've done some of that.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, ironically, they made a movie, Bewitched.
Right.
Do you remember who the Darren was?
It was Alec Baldwin, wasn't it?
Huh?
Was it Alec Baldwin?
No. Tall elf. He was an elf.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, I was his photo double 3.5 years ago.
Come on.
They needed somebody they could put hair pieces on. I said, "This is for rent."
No
I
way.
kid you not. The movie that they filmed in the Boston area, and how could I be
Picked
the
twice.
photo double
Yeah.
for the two guys that played, decades apart?
No kidding.
Yeah. So, and I've been
the
on
TV show and the movie.
Yeah. Well, I
Wow.
wasn't in the Bewitched movie, but
Okay.
but the fact that he was the actor in
I
it.
gotcha.
So,
I gotcha.
and I've been in some small things, as well as that. But I it's more. It's a lot of sitting around and waiting for something.
You
to
didn't
happen.
meet Will Ferrell, did you?
What's that?
Did you meet Will Ferrell?
No, we just kind of
Yeah.
one of these kind
Yeah.
of things like that.
Yeah.
So back on the Bewitched thing, the
Yes.
earlier one, what did that pay?
Something at the time it was pretty good money, but I had to sign all these releases so there'd be no residuals.
Right.
I can say $125 for 4 days worth of work, and it sounds like nothing. But
Yeah,
you're
right.
That's 54 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's big money.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
That's pretty
But it was
cool.
really about it wasn't about the money. It was just the fun of it all.
Well, it's helped make this whole book. Your life as a book is like, it's freaking awesome. You've done a lot of amazing things.
You happen to have one right next to you.
That's right.
This guy did this booklet on me with all my pictures.
Absolutely.
And all that, and so I brought one for Tom and
Yeah,
John.
that's so cool.
And,
Signed it for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
Signed by a star.
That's
And
right.
Absolutely.
And I have 8x10 glossies for $19.95 right over here, just on the side.
You and Elizabeth Montgomery,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a piece of ass, huh?
Oh, I tell you, she was a beautiful lady, and inside and out, but she's so tiny. You know how they say TV puts weight on you? I couldn't believe how tiny she was.
I know it does. I'm only 180 pounds and I look like this.
Exactly. 192 here. I totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and she had she'd draw, and she had some beautiful etchings in there. So maybe that's why she said, "Come up and see my etchings." That was my line, right?
That's right. It's supposed to be.
No.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a cool. So 19, you were doing that at 19, and you were married with a child.
Yeah.
And in college.
Yeah, and
Wow.
then I went to work for when I got out of there, I went to work for for Burroughs Corporation, which is now part of Unisys, and then I eventually went to work for a company selling valves and fittings for instrumentation, and I had enough of that. The finish line always doing this, so I started my own business with product lines that nobody else even wanted, but people trusted me. My word is my bond. So I started Banner Industries of New England, and my son, he joined in. He was a wrestler. He was the captain of the wrestling team. He finally got me into opening another office. No, I just want more work, more exposure and all this. But it was the right thing to do. And now they've got 11 offices in USA, and they're opening in Europe, and the 45th largest industrial distribution company in the entire country.
And your kids run it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
They
awesome.
had a good mentor, because you obviously you get up in the morning and you do shit, and that's That's just what successful people do.
Yeah, I hate going to bed.
Yeah.
Because I love creating more things and stuff like that, and you know, and whether I'm playing music or making something, it's hard to sit still. It is. I don't know how much time is left here.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Do you practice harmonica?
I don't have to practice.
That's what
because it's live.
Yeah.
You know, and so when I sit in with a lot of bands and solo and duos and all that up in in Danvers, Mass, and down here. So they can't justify having a harp player. We call them harps.
Yep.
It's not that kind of harp.
Yeah.
So somebody that will come and sit in for some songs for free.
Give
it a punch here and there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not many harmonica players. You don't see it.
Yeah.
Springsteen obviously plays it, and obviously Bob Dylan. But
well, it's because they're typically playing
with
guitar.
a guitar.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And it's kind of
Neil Young.
Neil Young. Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's like B.B. King. B.B. King could not sing and play the guitar at the same time.
One of the
I don't know how people do it.
One or the other.
Yeah. It's
Tom and I have had that conversation a million times about we see drummers who sing. I have friends who are drummers who it's almost impossible. These guys are unbelievable.
Because when you play drums, it's not just you're doing 4 different things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Each one that and all that, and of course what you have to do to move it around. So yeah, very, very difficult. So a lot of them have the headsets now. Like that.
Yeah.
But just to be able to sing while you're doing that is just
unreal, right?
It won't happen in my life. I can tell you that.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. So now I have a pretty good holder for the harps, and I can do both at the same time with some songs, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So is there any other things, any other big things on the horizon that you want to take and accomplish yet? You just probably don't know.
I'll see what happens tomorrow morning.
Exactly.
It's just the juices never stop flowing here. I think I probably have some other things that I could mention, but I can't even think of them right now. But the most important invention is my license plate program.
Yeah. Yep. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. See, John has heard the name Molly Bish. It's a 16-year-old lifeguard who was abducted, raped, and murdered in Massachusetts. And when Elizabeth Smart was taken out of her own bed, can you imagine that? A child taken out of their own bed. Her sister was in the same room. The parents are in the next room. I said, Mr. Inventor, you got to do something about child abduction. What am I going to do? But I made a commitment. And the key to abduction is the vehicle. How do we identify a vehicle? It's supposed to be a license plate. They don't grab a kid and take him on the bus.
Yeah.
So it's that license plate. That's the only chance we have, because all cars, they look generic now.
That's right.
So I came up with a new format. It's called easyid.org, and it uses universally recognizable symbols as part of the licensing number. So a star, a heart, a diamond, a square, a circle, a triangle. And it's a retrieval cue that children, they learn about those.
That's
before even letters or numbers.
Right.
But when you were Massachusetts in 1903 was the first state to put license plates on vehicles, and you're first in line, you got number 1, but now we have millions, and so the numbers are getting a VIN number.
Yeah.
So with my formatting, you use just one symbol per general issue plate. It's not for vanity plates, low number plates, or specialty plates. It's only for the ones that just scrambled numbers and letters. And as a result, it creates so many more mathematical combinations. 90% of the plates up in all of New England could go down to 4 characters.
Wow.
Now, first of all, you can have many characters if you're using letters the way they're supposed to be used to spell something.
Right.
It says Fred.
Sure.
It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
But when you take them and you mix them all up, so if you're going to mix them up, I can bring them down to typically 4 or less. and so I have the endorsement of every law enforcement group in New England.
Oh, I'm sure.
The New England Chiefs of Police, Mass Chiefs of Police, the District Attorneys Association, children's groups, AAA. And so it's in the Massachusetts legislature, and we're hoping this year. And Babson College has done an amazing job of showing the benefit to each county in Massachusetts, and they're willing to host the whole thing. So all the pieces are coming together here, for hopefully for it to happen, this legislative session.
So you see a blue truck take someone, and you say, "Oh, it was a blue truck, but it had a star," and I think I got one number or one letter out of the 4.
And it's one of 12 vehicles.
So you can
versus
you can
12,000 vehicles.
Yeah.
Great idea.
And people say, well, we don't have stars and hearts and diamonds and squares and circles on the keyboard. Well, you don't have a Red Sox logo either.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they use stacked characters. Over to the left, they'll have for a Red Sox plate, they have an R over an S.
Yeah.
They put RS and the rest of the number.
They have cancer license plates now. They have the cancer and the little heart.
Right. And so my system follows the same a routine, but mine has a letter over a number. The letter, if it's a diamond, it's a D. If it's a star, it's an S. And if it's in the second, if it's a 2, it's in the second position. So it goes in. This has been blessed by the FBI, the AMVA registrars, all this, and so it's bulletproof.
It's a no-brainer. They just
how long has it been in legislation?
Over 20 years.
Lobbyists.
Well, it's an ugly process. I want to take a shower every time I leave, but there's some great people up in the legislature, and then there's some people that it's all about lobbyists and creating money for them, and acting on legislation accordingly. And it breaks my heart that when you're going to sell your soul for that,
Were you involved with Molly Bish at all?
Not at all. I saw the program and it haunted me. Yeah. And I saw the dirt road.
And they never caught him.
No.
10 years after, they thought they knew who it was.
Yeah,
but they
right.
never.
But so you remember all that?
Oh yeah. She was a lifeguard. She was 16 years old at a pond.
Yeah, exactly. And so now, I'm working, the District Attorneys Association are becoming really active about making this thing happen. So I was just did a Zoom with them on Tuesday, and I was before the Transportation Committee in the legislature the week before, giving testimony there, and so we're hoping this legislative session might happen.
That would be awesome. We are going to take in on our website. We're going to have access where people can take and get to your organization.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And certainly get to all of your stuff. Oh my God, it's you got to come back. You got to come back. We'll definitely take in. You got to get moved to the villages permanently for one.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Quit being a tranny and becoming a permanent resident.
Absolutely, we need you down here.
Well, thanks. And, I salute what you've done here. This is a great forum, and it's great. It's entertaining, and it's bringing life to people that don't get out to see a lot of this stuff.
Well, and John and I, one of the things we wanted to take and make sure is the world's got to see the villages. People hear the villages, and they only hear the stuff about the loofahs and the STDs, which John and I are still in the hunt for.
I've yet to see one of these.
I'm in the hunt for an STD, 100%.
No, the loofahs, yeah.
Right. I'm going to tell you something. And people, say village. I said it's been very disappointing. I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah.
I know. It was like something on Extra, like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And someone ran with it.
If it's real, we are going to find it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So
on location.
Again, Gary, appreciate your time, man. Absolutely awesome. We'll see you again playing out. And for anybody who comes here, go to the Brownwood Hotel on Thursday, see David C. Johnson. You may be lucky enough to see Doc Gary along with him.
Doc G ripping the
great duo. And again, appreciate your time.
Well, thanks, guys. Congratulations again. Really enjoyed it.
Appreciate you.
That's a wrap.